Hey, I'm Grant Babbitt.
And I'm Stephen Farnsworth.
And you're listening to It's a Dad Thing podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of It's a Dad Thing podcast. I realized last week I said It's a Dad podcast, so I'm going to say it again. It's a Dad Thing podcast. Welcome to the show. Hey, if you haven't noticed, or if you're watching on the video, you can definitely notice that this is not Stephen. Stephen is out again this week. He is still in Detroit, still working, not able to come to the podcast. So we have a very special guest here today. We have Jordan Scavone. Welcome, Jordan.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. So you told me before when we were talking how far you're pretty close to where Stephen is right now, right? You're Michigan?
Yeah, I'm about 20 minutes out of Detroit.
Okay. All right. So I feel like I got to get you guys together while you're out there if he ever stops working for a few minutes, but
yeah, and if I ever have free time on the weekends.
This is true. Okay. So Jordan, speaking of free time, tell everybody, what is it that you do? Yeah, I know as we're talking, you seem like you're a man of many trades.
I'm busy.
Yeah, that's good though. That's good. So what is it that you do, Jordan?
My regular day job, I work in a infant toddler classroom. So I've been teaching for 5 years, from the age of basically 6 weeks up to about 3 years old.
Okay. Now, is that like infant toddler? Is that like preschool type setting?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a preschool setting. So we're a mixed age daycare center with a full-size preschool and 3 infant toddler classrooms.
Very cool. I actually used to do that myself. My mom runs a daycare back in Kansas. And
Nice.
So I used to work at her daycare during the day, and then at night I was a bartender. So it felt like it was 2 very different jobs, but basically the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
very similar in terms of the individual's personality and actions.
Yeah, a lot of you're dealing with a lot of fits, right?
Yeah.
I want this. No, you can't have that. Like, wait your turn. Say please. Say thank you. Right. And I'm not dealing with the bathroom stuff as much at the bar, but you're definitely like, oh, it's over there. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's not babysitting either.
Honestly, my wife jokes that I will be the first dad in recorded history to teach the mom how to change diapers.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So wait, so you're married?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Where's my camera? There it is.
There you go.
I love it's the black tungsten with the little gemstone in it.
There you go. I've got white gold myself.
I like the white gold too. It was between that and the black. The black tungsten, honestly, it was just cheaper.
Oh, I hear you. We, we want to get into it. My wife and I, she has her grandma's wedding ring. So
nice.
When we got married, her ring was already picked out. We didn't have to buy a ring, which was great for us because we're broke and we were about to have a baby. And but we went to get my ring, and it took me like months to try to figure out but that ring's not comfortable. This one's not comfortable. It was so weird. And we finally found this one, and it was like $3,000. I was like, that's ridiculous. First off, I should not
mine was $50 off Overstock.com.
Okay, well, I applaud you then.
Let's get you sponsored by Overstock.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, let's see if that works. My wife and I, it was $3,000, and somehow talked them down to $500 cash. So
nice.
I feel good about it. And now it may have just only been like a $500 ring anyway, but yeah, I felt good walking away from that. So I have some pride in this ring. But
yeah, that's fair.
Aside from the marriage. That part.
Yeah, well, yeah. And she actually she now knows this. I got her engagement ring off of Groupon.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. and is she okay with it?
Yeah, she didn't care at all. She cared more that it fit and looked nice. She didn't care what it cost. So
there you go. My similar story. My wife and I, we had just moved to LA, right? We were pretty new to LA. I was broke as a joke, and then we found out we were pregnant. And we weren't going to get married right away. We were going to maybe wait a year or whatever and then get married afterwards. But our neighbor had a baby, and she was not married to her partner. So she had a different last name. So my wife just was like, I just kind of want to have the same last name as my baby. And we're like, all right, well, we're going to do this eventually. Let's just do it now. So we kind of,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we got married at 7-8 months pregnant. I can't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, that being said, I bought a cubic zirconian ring online, and it came to her. And for me, it's the gesture, right? It's a gesture proposing. We knew we weren't keeping that ring because we already had a ring, right? So this was just something temporary. But the sad thing is that I knew when I wanted to ask her to marry me, or knew when I wanted to propose. And for some reason, the mailman or mailwoman or whoever, they delivered it to the wrong house. So they actually sent it to the apartment next to us instead of mine, and I couldn't get to it. So I had to wait like a couple of days, and it totally threw off the whole proposal because it just didn't work out anymore. So I had to wait.
At least she didn't get it and open it and then just go, oh, what is this?
Well, that was creative.
Why do we have, this is an interesting way to do it.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So Jordan, you are married. Yes. Do you prefer preschool teacher or daycare provider? Like, how do you label that?
Yeah, teachers. I just do teacher.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's easier that way.
Early educational teacher.
Yes, early childhood development.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. So you do that, but what else do you do? Because I know you said you're busy on your plate.
Yeah, I am a published children's author. So I have 4 children's picture books out, and I'm about to debut my first young adult novel.
That's first young adult. So we're talking like teen genre.
Yeah, it's about 75,000 words, 400 pages.
Wow, that is way more than I've ever read at a time.
It's that
definitely.
It's that kind of Hunger Games-ish age audience.
Okay. I would say Twilight audience. Is it similar?
Yeah. Audience-wise, yeah, I think it's a little bit better.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. This is how I compare. There's Hunger Games, Twilight. Yeah. It's like a little older than Harry Potter, though, right? Because Harry Potter started as a young.
Yes, Harry Potter is technically a children's series.
Okay.
Harry Potter is technically a children's series that age is intended to age with its readers.
Yeah,
which was cool because I was around the same age as the characters were when the books were coming out.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I bet that was so how did you feel in comparison, like the movies and the books?
I liked them just because I'm a film guy to begin with.
Okay.
I studied screenwriting in college for like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And it's actually what I originally wanted to do before I started doing book writing. Mm-hmm. And so I know how when you adapt things, you have to make changes and make cuts and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like book to movies, I've always been accepting of what the movie ends up giving us, unless it's really bad and just completely changes everything.
Yeah, I will have one movie in particular. You ever seen The Beach? Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
Oh, you're lucky.
No, but I've heard of it.
You know what? I don't know. Have you read the book?
No.
Okay. I never read the book. I will say, I'll admit it, but I had heard a lot of people liked the book. I watched the movie, and the movie is fantastic. Like, I really do like it. It's very, there's twists and turns and blah, 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 all this, interesting stuff that happens. I don't want to give it all away. But at one point, the movie does have you heard the term jump the shark? Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, a little Fonzie action.
Exactly. Yes. For those of you who don't know, Grease at one point, or not Grease. Wrong.
Happy Days.
Happy Days. Thank you.
Fonzie is a greaser. Fonzie is a greaser. I mean, you're not right train of thought.
Fonzie on Grease would have been great. Am I wrong?
Yeah, just in the background or something. Just like they're singing. They're in the bleachers, and he's up there doing his hair too.
Yeah, he would. I mean, he would have taken all the attention away from the Danny.
Yeah, I mean, Danny Zuko.
Danny Zuko.
Don't worry, I'll cover the musical knowledge here.
Thank you.
I got my Wicked shirt on anyway, so.
Oh yeah, I can see that. They're very nice, very nice. My by the way, my son's school did a play that they mixed Wicked with Wiz with The Wizard of Oz.
Wow, that sounds like a lot.
It
sounds fun, but it sounds like a lot.
It was good, and it was kindergartners through 5th grade. So I mean, it was fun. They had all the munchkins. It was definitely adorable. And
yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
But that being said, jumping the shark. Okay, Happy Days. At one point, I can't remember what season it was, but at one point, it was like they ran out of ideas, and they had Fonzie get on a motorcycle and ramp and jump over a shark. Either that, no,
it's not. He's skiing and he's water skiing.
Thank you. I knew it wasn't a motorcycle. Yep. Thank you. Water skiing and literally jumps a shark. So that term now has basically been coined as anytime a show goes off the rails or a movie goes off the rails, or the story just seems like, look, they ran out of ideas, so they jumped the shark, right? We all know our favorite shows that have gone 3-4 seasons and they're great, and then 5 and 6 you're like, what happened there? That's terrible. But that being said, The Beach, the movie is very entertaining for me, lots of twists and turns, and then it gets to this point where Leonardo DiCaprio turns into a video game. And I love Leo. I love Leo.
I love Leo. Yeah.
Great actor. I don't even have a problem with video games. But for some reason, at this moment, he goes from Leonardo DiCaprio to this video game, and he's literally like, doing all the action. And it just pulls me completely out of the movie, and it's very cringeworthy for me. It's just one of those things where I'm just like,
it's that Spider-Man 3 dance scene.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know why I would not assume that is definitely way up there on the list, because that is very iconic for jumping the shark. God, that's bad. Yeah. Bad. Okay, so I feel like this is really fun. We're totally getting off track, but I'm having fun doing it.
That tends to happen with me. So
yeah, that's all right. Okay, so your children's books, okay?
Children's books, yes.
Yes. I want to hear about these. So your children's books, are they preschool, that early education level? Or are they all through grade school?
So all 3 of them are deliberately written that you can sit down and read to your kids. Story time, bedtime, whatever you want to do. You can learn. Your kids can use them to learn to read, and then your kids can read them on their own once they know how to read.
Got it.
So they're a little bit longer than most modern day picture books. They're between 800 and 1,000 words.
Oh, so almost like a mini chapter book, but not quite.
Yeah, your average picture book. Yeah, your average picture book now ranges between 300 and 400 words.
Okay.
And a lot of your big name publishers, Penguin, Scholastic, whatever, won't even look at books that are longer than that.
Really?
Yeah, which is why I went the indie publisher route.
Okay.
So I have complete creative control. I get to pick my illustrators as long as they're willing to work with me and things like that.
So how is this? I mean, I clearly am not. I don't come from this background. I don't even, honestly. Let's be honest. I don't read a whole lot. I found out later in life, but I found out I like reading and I like the content, but I realized that not until I was an adult that my eyes have, I don't know if it's astigmatism or what it's called, but my eyes basically fight to, so I have to wear reading glasses, which now that I've had them for the past 5 years or whatever, great, no problem. I can read. Don't tell anybody that gives me a script, but I can read. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I used to always I would read, I'd enjoy it, and the next thing you know, I'm asleep, and I'm like, what? Got a headache or something. So it wasn't that enjoyable. But I will say, my first grader is very much into reading. And just last night, I grabbed some books from the library, and I was like, hey, here's a Pokemon book, here's this, here's that, and he's like, oh, Dad, these are awesome. I'm like, I'm so excited to see him excited about reading. So I love that these are children's books. I mean, I feel like I need to get a copy now so I can try to read it to the kids. And I'm sure so you have 4 different ones.
4 books.
Okay, 4 books. 4 books so far, and you're working on your 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are
and 6th and 7th.
So, all continually working. That's good.
Yeah.
So you've got a plan. That's good. So what are the 4 books? What are the 4 books? What are they?
This is my first. This is my baby book. It's my first one.
And that's called
it's
Mighty?
Mighty, yes.
Okay.
It's about a 4-year-old girl with social anxiety starting school.
Okay.
And in order to overcome her fear of going to school, she becomes a superhero.
Excellent. Okay.
So it's loosely inspired by just my experience in the classroom and seeing kids, come in and they're super anxious and shy around the other kids and their new teachers and things like that. And they're looking for that thing that helps them, realize that they are comfortable, realize that they are safe, and that sort of thing. And for the girl in the book, it's transforming into this superhero with this real superhero mask and cape.
So it's something that she wears to school and then embodies it. Is that what?
So in the book itself, she shows up, and her dad has actually hidden it in her backpack.
Okay. Oh, that's fun.
So she spends the majority of her first day at school just miserable, just not eating, not playing, not talking, not anything. And then she puts on her outfit and she is mighty.
Okay, excellent.
Hence the name. So, and the character's name is Emma. So
And
that's why the title is the way that it is.
okay.
So it's essentially Mighty. It's Mighty Emma.
Mighty Emma, very very clever. So you said that's your baby. Is that your first one? Is that your first?
That's my first one. That's my debut.
All right.
So it actually was created. I have my master's degree in children's literature, and I was taking a grad level diverse text class, and we had the option of doing an essay or a creative project. I chose the creative project, and I actually did a very poorly illustrated, because I can't draw, rough version of that book for it.
Okay.
And my professor, who was at the time the head of the department, loved it and was like, you might be able to actually do something with this book. And that was kind of the moment when I was like, oh, maybe I can do something with these books. Wow. And now I have 4. So is this something, when you went into, you said you studied writing, were you studying also like child development? I mean, is that something you were interested in for a while? A little bit.
Okay.
So what's kind of a lot of people don't think about when you talk about literature is you get into the psychological aspects of books and things like that. So when you're studying children's literature, you're automatically kind of looking at child development, child psych, and that sort of stuff.
Got it.
So I have a lot more experience, and even now, because I've been teaching for so long and taking trainings and going to conferences and that sort of stuff, I have a lot more early childhood education experience. But I already had a lot from using the literary lens.
Got it. Okay. All right. So you may have not, it sounds like, because you started out for screenwriting, right? That was kind of what
so I originally went to school for speech and film. And it was right when Michigan got that film incentive. And then about 2.5 years into my program, the film incentive was dropped. And I'm like, oh, well, that was a waste of time, because I don't really want to move.
Yeah.
So I kind of switched over to more literature, and I stayed with communication. So I minored in communication as kind of that backup thing.
Okay.
But I ended up switching into children's literature with a minor in comm and a minor in film.
Got it. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, the process, right? We go through different things. Like, I went to school to be a director and writer, and then I ended up getting there and going like, ooh, these cameras and lights are like super fun. Like, I want to play with that. And then that's where I went on that path, and like that's where I've been ever since. So I'm just trying to see how you kind of weaved your way from here's where I am now to like here's where I am with early education and authoring these children's stories. And I love like hearing the evolution of how you get from one step to the next.
It all had to do with writing in the long run. I should have grabbed it. It's in the other room buried. I have a children's book that I wrote when I was like 8.
Oh, that's cool.
And I stapled it together and stenciled all the drawings, and it's absolutely terrible. I did a school visit and I read it to a group of second graders who wanted to read it.
Recently?
I got it was about 2 years ago.
Okay. Oh, very cool.
But there's this little girl just starts raising her hand. She's like, "You can stop. It's not good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I told you guys it wasn't good. I wrote it when I was your age."
Oh, that's funny. That's good. I'm in my classroom right now, but I teach one day a week at a high school, and I show my high school students, I show them some of the videos that I've made back when I was in high school.
Okay.
And this is forever ago, 15, 20. I don't know. I'm not good at math, but not good at math, not good at reading, but it was a long time ago. I make videos. I show them some of my, crappy videos from high school, and I will show them, and it's not to show them and say like, hey, by the way, like, this is the junk that I was doing, right? But I show them these videos, and they sit there and they go, okay, all right, thanks for showing that, which is clearly the same thing that you're experiencing, right? This video isn't good. And part of me wants to go, and I'm your teacher now. So like, you're learning from that guy. But basically what I tell them and in my classes, they do this stuff and they see this stuff that I made back in high school, and more or less the reaction is, this is terrible. And I go, yes, you're right. This is terrible. This isn't very good. But at the time, this was the best work I could ever do, right? When you were 8 and you made that book, that is the best book you ever made. But the trick is that you don't give up. You keep trying the next day and the next day and keep going. And then hopefully you progress, right? Because if you're making that same book that you made when you're 8 now, yeah, that's going to be a terrible book.
Yeah, probably don't go into that that's a poor career move.
Yeah, but that was the best thing you made at that point. So I don't know. That's one of the things I try to use when I teach, and that's one of the things I try to share with my kids and stuff. That it's fine exactly. If you're this is awesome now, but keep doing better, keep getting better. So let's do this. Let's switch gears a little bit because we'll get to your books. I'm going to talk about them, but we started talking about your jobs and you're married, but
yes,
this is a dad podcast, right?
Yes.
Dad podcast. So this is the thing that for some reason I didn't have this as part of the introduction, and I'm so sorry. I feel bad for doing this, but
it's okay.
So far we've had, Steven and I have 3 kids. He's about to adopt his 4th child. I have 3 kids. I'm about to have our 4th child. Yes. And Brian, who was on last week, he has 3 girls. So we've really only had voices in here that are talking from perspectives of having multiple children.
Correct.
What is your standing with children right now? How many, do you have any kids right now? Where are you at with that?
We are 6 months into our gestation period.
Okay. For baby number
1.
Baby number 1. Okay.
Yes.
So
he will be here in June.
June. Okay. So do you have the weeks on a countdown? What week you're on?
We are on 27.
Oh, you're pretty close to us then. We are week 29. Are you getting corrected? What week you are?
Yeah, we're on 27, right?
20.
Felix. 20. No, we're farther than 25, aren't we? We're on 25.
25. You know what? That's okay.
My wife's cooking on the other side of this closet door that I'm in.
Hello, wife over there.
You've been said hello to. She says hello back.
All right. Okay, so you guys are 25 weeks. Okay, then that makes sense. We are, my wife and I are at 29 weeks right now. So
and you're May, you said, so you're about a month ahead of us.
Yeah, do you remember what the due date is? June what?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. Okay, so you are literally like 1 month and 2 days ahead of us.
Yeah, we'll probably be closer to June 10th because she'll probably be induced at least 2 weeks early.
Okay. All right.
She's type 1 diabetic, and at the end of diabetic pregnancies, babies can unhealthily rapid grow.
Sure. That makes sense. So our first baby was he was born emergency C-section. So all of our babies since then have all been cesarean born. So actually, whatever the due date is, they're born a week before for that. So all of our babies have born, with the exception of our first child was like 39 and a half weeks. All of our children are born at like 39 weeks instead of 40.
Oh, okay.
So you may get to figure that out at some point on your own. I'm excited for you. First of all, I'm really excited to have you on as a future dad. I wish Stephen was here. Stephen and I have been talking about trying to get a future dad on the podcast before. Excuse me. We actually, in this phase of us trying to like get the podcast up and running, both of our friends / potential guests had their babies. So we never got to interview them and talk to them before they had the baby. So I think this is a nice, unique setting. It's a dad podcast, right? And you are a dad, right? The baby's not here physically. You can't hold him or her.
He's
yet,
there.
Right?
He did kick me for the first time on Sunday.
Oh, really? And how was that?
It was the lightest little tap. And I guess he according to my wife, he has been very actively trying to kick me, but I could never feel it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she'd be like, he's kicking, put it up, put your hand on. And she'd be like, did you feel that? There was like 4 of them. And I'm like, no, I didn't feel it. So I finally on Sunday was able to feel it, and it was super exciting.
I got to ask you, because I remember how I felt the first time I ever felt the first kick of baby number 1. First of all, what's going through your head?
Hang on. Yes, he kicked me like Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, there you go.
Flies to the air. Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, what were you?
No, you're good. That's what I'm saying is that's what I was going to ask about is what did it feel like when Liu Kang gave you the kick? I mean, like, how did that feel experiencing that for the very first time?
It was already an emotional roller coaster because we were at a funeral that day.
Oh my, okay.
So it was actually kind of a nice tension breaker.
Sure.
Because emotions were already high. We were probably about 30 to 40 minutes or so to the service. So we were kind of like in that last lull as the last few people arrive, and we're catching our breath. And she's like, "Hey, he's kicking right now." And I reached over, and there it was. So I think he has been extremely reassuring.
Okay.
Especially through this whole situation. It was on my wife's side, the death in the family was. So any time that she has been getting starting to feel it or anything like that, he has been like giving her little reassuring, like, it's okay kicks.
Okay.
So that's been nice. So that's been consistent throughout really the whole pregnancy. Is he's been reassuring. The process has been really, really smooth, especially for someone who is high risk. So it's been a lot smoother than we expected.
That's good. That's good. Do you feel like, I mean, I know we got it's March. So what, about 2.5, 3 months to go? Do you feel like you're prepared? Do you as a dad, but do you and your wife feel like you're prepared? Are you ready?
I think mentally, yeah. Especially because I just have so much experience with kids. I think that prepares me more, and makes us both a little bit more comfortable in terms of like, I already know basically what to do as soon as he shows up.
Okay.
Like, I know how to swaddle babies. I know how to feed babies. I know how to do everything except work a breast pump, but I won't actually have to work it. So
sure.
But we should be getting our crib this week, and then our shower is next month. And so aside from kind of putting everything where it needs to go once it gets here, mentally I'm prepped.
Okay.
So I'm not scared of him showing up, which I know from like what I've read and things like that is a very much more common feeling. So
I cannot say the same thing that I felt prepared like you do. If you're talking about the common or what was common, like my experience was the baby's coming, and I remember feeling terrified. I mean, excited, but terrified to the point where we're in the hospital and my wife is pushing and I'm going, okay, you got a contraction coming, get ready to push. And she's pushing and I'm going, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. But like, I get it.
Which
like
is probably really, really assuring for her.
Oh, she loved it. But that's the thing. I would say what you're feeling and feeling that preparedness, I don't know that is very common. You're probably one of the if not maybe one or two people I've ever actually heard say, yeah, baby's coming. I got it. I'm good. Most everybody I've talked to is not set like that. So I'm excited for you. That's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to come with one. I'm the youngest in my family.
Okay.
Of all my siblings, all my cousins. To the point that my oldest nephew is in college.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you've been around family.
I've literally been around, forever and a day.
Okay.
I've spent the last 5 years with infants and toddlers every day. We have 12 every day.
Okay.
So honestly, the thought of just being around one is almost relaxing in terms of being around 12 all the time.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying there. I'll pose a question then with that, because at least your job, I'm sure you probably go home at 5 or whenever it is, right, when you're done. There's no dropping them off, right? When you have one baby in your house, they're not going home.
I am less excited about that part, especially because he'll be at my daycare.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He won't be in my classroom, but he'll be at my center. So I'll probably be doing most of the drop-offs, and my wife will be doing most of the pickups. So generally speaking, because she, unless I am the first person to open that day, she gets off work before me. Okay. So I would say 9 times out of 10, he'll be waiting for me once I get home.
Got it. Okay.
But it will be nice to know that he's, a quick walk away at all times. So
I would say that's, to be a working dad and have your baby close by, that's also, again, another very unique scenario that I don't know many dads would get to experience that.
Yeah, 2% of early childhood educators are men.
Yeah, I totally believe that. It's when I was doing that, it always felt like, I remember getting the not, I didn't get the stat, but I remember like having a lot of people like, yeah, you don't get a lot of like guy teachers. Like there's just not a lot of like guy, preschool, early education. Like there is not a lot of guys in the field. Now, that being said, my mom who runs her daycare, her preschool, she has employed guys in the past. It's just like, it's one of those like weird facts that like guys in early education isn't necessarily something that is uber common.
Yeah, and it's actually, my wife and I have this running gag that we're in the opposite fields.
Okay.
She makes laser scopes for military and hunting weapons.
Okay, so yeah, that's in a traditional sense.
We swapped our traditional gender roles.
Well, that's cool. So okay, so what about? Is there anything? I mean, I know the baby will be there with you at work, but if you looked into any kind of paternity leave or anything like that, like does your state offer that? Does your work offer that?
Nah, not really. Okay. Not really. I can take like vacation time or FMLA, family medical leave, and things like that, but nothing extended. So I had actually originally signed up. We have a short-term disability option within our insurance package. And when I signed up for it 4 years ago when we first started trying, because it took almost 4 years to create him.
Yes, got you.
So I had signed up for this short-term medical leave thing that the guy who came in from the company who like explained it all to us said that you could use it for maternity or paternity, only to find out last week that he lied or was wrong. I like to think he was wrong and hope he didn't lie to get me to sign up for it.
Sure.
But I don't get I can't use that towards paternity leave, which was super frustrating.
Yeah, I will tell you it's probably all over my face, but as far as paternity leave, like I know there are other countries that will give dads like 3 months off, which is a long time. I mean, that would be
I think it's like Norway, you get like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
as Slavic European country.
Right, which that sounds, I mean, part of it is like, that sounds amazing. It also sounds like, it's not like you're at home just relaxing, not doing anything. You're clearly doing work. There's a lot
exactly
with raising a baby. But, it's one of those things like, I never got a paternity leave. So it's like, I when my daughter was born, which is our second born, I got laid off 10 days before she was born, and I got a severance package. So, it wasn't, that was the closest thing to paternity leave was, well, at least I know I'm getting paid for like the next month or two, technically.
Yeah. Here's some forced paternity leave.
Exactly. So, that was one of those things where it was like, at the time it felt awful to be laid off 10 days before my daughter was born. In retrospect, I'm like, that was absolutely the best thing to ever happen to me, because first of all, I changed and went in to do freelance instead of doing full-time work. And, and I got to spend all the time with my daughter, which I never got to do with my boys. So, the good thing is though, you may be working, but you are there with, it's a him, right? With a boy, a little boy?
Yes. He is coming. Felix.
Okay. Felix. Is that a family name or anything? And what inspired the name?
No, we just like it.
Okay.
We like it. It also means lucky.
Oh, okay.
So, and because of the situation and how long it took, and we were kind of at that point where it was like, okay, well, by the new year, if stuff doesn't happen, maybe we should start looking at foster adoption and that sort of stuff. Which we're still open to in the future as a definite possibility, because I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
But we felt super lucky that we were kind of like getting to the end of that cutoff that we had set for ourselves, only for him to be like, "Hey, I'm here now."
Yeah. Well, so now he's a procrastinator.
Yeah, which he gets that from me. So
yeah, it happens. It happens, right? My kids are all the same way, and it's definitely my fault. Like I get it. Well, I will say, if you ever are interested in adoption, Stephen is the man to talk to. He has been he's been so many iterations of that, and like just learning so much and different ways of adoption. And so we got to do an episode on it. I think we will for sure, because just the experience that he's had doing that. But he's a great person to talk to.
I would love to watch and listen to that. So
Yeah, for sure. Man, that's exciting. Okay, Felix, were you ever a Felix the Cat fan?
Yeah, I was as a kid
Okay,
actually, and actually, so there's a little bit of my uncle, who's every family has that kind of wacky uncle.
sure. I'm the wacky uncle in
He's
my
our
family.
he's our wacky uncle, and every year he does for Christmas he gives out um, random gifts that are literally like just stuff he finds in his house or like stuff he finds at like a convention fair or at the thrift store or something that he thinks is cool.
Okay.
But he cuts up old like newspaper comics or like we'll make a copy of a comic and cut it out. And then you just randomly draw and you're like, oh, I got, Superman or I got Archie or whatever. And the year that we found out, before we knew, so this past Christmas, before we knew it was a boy and everything, my wife got a Felix the Cat one.
Oh, wow. Okay, right before you guys actually even just found out about him.
Yeah, well, we knew he was coming, but we didn't know it was a him yet.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So yeah, we both thought that was super cool once we officially decided that we were going down the Felix route.
Okay, interesting. So, okay, I feel like I have a bunch of questions for you because I'm trying to think back. Like it's been it's been 7 years since I've been where you are. Mm-hmm. And so some of the stuff I remember like it was yesterday, and other things I'm like, there was so much to prepare for and so much to do. So you said you feel like you're ready, right?
Mentally, at least.
Mentally. Okay. So I will ask, are you guys getting lots of sleep? I ask that because my opinion, you will never sleep the same after that baby's born.
Oh, I'm sure.
It doesn't matter if they're 20 days old or 20 years old. I am under the impression, and I feel like I have never slept the same as if I did before children compared to what I've done after kids. So
I believe that.
Are you guys trying to bank all the sleep you can get right now? Is that
she sleeps a lot more than me in general.
Okay. Same with my wife and I. Same.
Yeah. So she has been taking advantage of, anytime she can to nap, which again, pregnant and, has a medical condition. So take it when you can. I'm totally for it.
Yeah.
But what is kind of nice is I am a morning person and she is a night owl.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of balance there where, I'll fall asleep at like 10:30 on a Friday night. Mm-hmm. And then be up at 7:30 in the morning Saturday. Okay. And she'll fall asleep, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning and sleep until whenever she decides to wake up at this point.
Sure.
So it's kind of nice because, once he's here, my plan is to, be that kind of morning person, especially on the weekends. Okay. Just because I'm already going to be up. Why would I make her get up too?
Right.
Type deal.
Right.
Unless, of course, it's, something that only she can do.
No, I hear you. I totally get that. I not that I actually changed into a morning person, but for me, when my son was born, I realized how important those mornings were. Mm-hmm. Like for me, it wasn't like, I'm going to sleep in like an extra 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. And then I'll get up and I'll go work or I'll do whatever. Mm-hmm. Those extra 20, 30 minutes ended up being like, oh, I get to hang out with my boy because he's up. When they wake up, they're just up, right? It doesn't matter if it's 5 or 6 or whenever. Like,
yep, nope, they're ready to go.
And when they're up, you're up. And so for me, it was like when I turned into a morning person, but I still tried to be the night owl. So that was the thing I really struggled with.
I feel like that'll probably be me.
Yeah, sure. And you know what? You will, I'm sure, go through lots of different bumps in the roads.
And I know you said on one of the other episodes you would do your adventure walks in the early morning.
Yeah, that's.
I'm stealing that, by the way.
Please do. That's what's here for. I hope you do because they are super fun. And it's funny because my son, when he was really little, I think he was about 18 months, we really started like actually walking and going out and doing it. Yeah. But I mean, even beforehand, you can put them in the little front carrier and just kind of walk around and talk and, sing whatever you want to do. And nobody thinks you're crazy because you have a baby at that point. So you can be crazy and it's totally acceptable. Yeah. You can also wear socks with sandals at that point and no one cares.
I already started. So.
Okay, good. You're a dad in training. That's good. But we would go, and the thing was there was like this senior center that was being built right across from it. Used to just be this big open field with nothing. So there was like this fence all the way around it, and then like dug big holes for foundation and everything else.
Yeah.
And it was like when he was little, I would just pick him up and we looked like these little holes in the fence, and he was just like, what's that? And he's like, oh, I can't remember exactly what he would say, but whatever word he would say for like construction equipment or So but it was just his mind was just going. So yes, please, by all means, share it, take it, make it your own. Go for it, man. Have fun with it.
Yeah, the second I heard you talk about that, I was at the first or second episode. I'm like, I'm stealing that.
Oh yeah, please do.
Stealing that completely.
It's dude, I have to remind myself to do it sometimes, because when you just you have a hard week or something, and you're like you said, you're busy. You've got your books, you've got work. I know there's one more thing you're doing. We were talking about. I want to know if you're going to continue doing this thing. So kind of switching off the dad gear right now to this other extracurricular activity you do that I'm quite interested in.
Yeah. So I also work for an independent professional wrestling company.
Okay. Independent professional wrestling company. Are we talking wrestling like wearing the onesies and the singlets and like the
we're talking Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay, snap into a Slim Jim kind of.
Randy
Savage.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Awesome. So, and is that all based around where you live, or you have to drive anywhere specifically to do that?
I don't go too far. I go about an hour at the most. We did do a show in Indiana last year, which was so freaking cool.
Okay.
It was a door to door. So, and we didn't stay overnight. We drove and came back. I carpooled with some of the other guys. It was like door to door. I think like a 23-hour day or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we do ring setup, ring tear down, all that jazz. And so I do ringside managing.
Okay.
So we're bad guys. I have a group of 3 guys. And specifically at that show, it was a single elimination tournament. Okay. And I had 2 guys in the tournament, and my other guy is currently the heavyweight champion. All right. So we're doing well for ourselves.
Yeah. Is it bad guys is good business?
Yeah. And actually at that show, because the people out in Indiana didn't really follow our product as much as the ones here in Michigan. We came out, and I guess we're just cool. Okay. So they started cheering for us. So we actually played it up, and we were good guys at that show for a day.
Oh, nice.
But
nice twist.
Yeah, it was fun. We had to test our good guy chops.
Yeah.
But so it was an 8-segment show, and because it was that tournament structure, and I had 2 guys in the tournament and then the main event, I was in 7 segments.
Wait, 7 what?
7 segments of an 8-segment show.
7 segments. Okay. I wasn't sure. It sounded like you said siphons, and I'm like, is this a wrestling thing I've never heard?
No.
7
segments. So
segments. Got
segments.
it. Okay.
So I can I'll send you. It's on my Instagram. I did a before and after selfie of me.
Okay.
And my hair's down, but I wet it before every match I go out, so it has that like kind of greasy shine to it. And I do guy liner, and I wear tights as well, mostly because it's the only way I can actually be flexible at ringside.
Sure.
Because jeans and slacks are not built for that.
Okay. Now is that normal for ringside managers to have the same kind of getup?
Not as much.
Okay.
But it's something that I think sets our group apart.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. But there's a picture on my Instagram page of before and after selfies of like my eyeliner's like fresh and dark, and I actually have some complexion to my face.
Okay.
And then I'm so pale, some of my freckles have faded, and my eyeliner just looks like a dead raccoon.
Do you ever? Okay. Now here's my thought too. Are you out there, and do you ever start having the thought like, yeah, I'm somebody's dad? Like this is what I think might be more fun, because that sounds like a ton of fun. But now when you get out there, picture your son in let's see, where do they start getting really embarrassed by you? 13 to 14, 15 years?
Yeah.
Picture them. Are there somebody taking video of all this?
Oh yeah, I'll send you some links.
Perfect. I'm excited. See, this is the kind of thing that when you do things like this, okay, this is the kind of stuff that you look back on and you go, I can't wait to show you this when you bring over like your first girlfriend or whatever, right? This is stuff we're going to pop in, like the VCR. We're going to stream or whatever the hell we're doing at that point. Yeah, right. So, this is the thing you're going to show to embarrass the kids. I think the idea of being out there and being like in the tights and having the eyeliner and like, being in character and stuff, and then having that thought of like, I'm somebody's dad, be like, that just sounds fun to me.
Well, what's so funny about it is that, like, in terms of like, masculinity and traditional like male things,
yes, yeah,
I'm not that. Like, I'm a lifelong Disney fan. I'm into musical theater. I write children's book. I work with infants and toddlers. So, and I'm deceptively athletic, I guess, probably because of all the time I've spent up and down on the ground with kids.
Okay.
And I like bench press kids and curl them at work and things like that. So, but I'm also like super flexible. I'm 5'11" and I can kick over my own head.
Okay. Yep.
Again, only in tights.
And wait,
not jeans.
How old are you?
29.
29. Okay. I don't think I could do it at 29 either, but I definitely can't do it now at 35.
Yeah. So I'm not the springiest chicken, but I'm not the oldest, the old dog either.
That's all right. That's more spring than I've got for sure.
But like, it's so weird because at those events, I'm a completely different character when I'm out there. I'm a bad guy, so I'm mean to everybody. We'll walk out and kids are like, high five, and I'll do like the like go in for it and then last second swerve and like do the hair thing,
Okay.
That generic bad guy stuff, and it's so not me, but it's what makes it so fun for me as well.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're out there and you're like coddling all the children, you're like, this is what I do every day, all the time. So I'm sure it is fun to like, look, I'm early education, I'm taking care of these kids and these babies, and then I get to be here and be like, whatever, kid, hey, loser.
And like,
I'm sure it's a totally fun aspect of your life.
Yeah, and it's a really good way to get stress out. Because I just get to like, I shout at the guys in the ring we're fighting. I shout at the fans at ringside who are bashing on my guys, and it's a lot of fun. I am retiring in May.
What? You're retiring?
Yeah, at least until he's a little bit older.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm hanging up the boots, as they say.
You're wait, is it hanging up the toots or hanging up the boots?
Hanging up
the boots, or is it hanging the tights?
Hanging the booties.
Hanging booties. The boot. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Right. Child booties. Yeah. It's a lot. It's like I said. It's an hour away at least.
Yeah.
In busy months, we'll do 3 shows a month sometimes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And that's literally, if I work Monday through Friday.
And
then if I have like a book thing on Saturday, and then if I have a show on Sunday, which happens sometimes,
sure,
I literally, that's, I'm starting to rival Steven's current work schedule at that point.
Yeah, well, it's you are a dad that hustles, so
yeah. Well, and then book events is something I'm going to have to start balancing once he's here.
Right.
I've been approached just in the last week to do 2, but they're literally the week that he might be showing up.
Okay.
So I can't even like chance booking them in the off chance that he comes a little bit earlier or he comes a little bit later. So I'm probably there is a show in July I'll probably do, but it's just because I've been doing it for the last 2 years and I know it's a consistently successful show.
Right.
And it's not too far from home. It's about 45 minutes from home. But if my wife and him decide to come with me, her stepdad is within 20 minutes. My mom is within 10 minutes. Her cousin actually lives less than 5 minutes away. So like if she decides to come with me, we can either, go drop him off, or she can go and like chill, while I'm doing stuff, or she can just stay home. But aside from that, I probably won't book anything until around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Wow. Just because that's a big time.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it sounds like you're planning it out. That's good. I'm excited for you, for the baby to come. Part of me, just because I'm just learning about this and it sounds so fun. I'm like, oh man, you're retiring. Don't you want to? You gotta like, you gotta, like, incorporate your little Felix like into your wrestling act, right?
I know.
I'm sure there's plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
I'm excited. I'm going to miss it, but it's one of those things that like, this is something I've been wanting longer and more.
Yes.
And I can, I'll be able to look back and say I did that wrestling thing that I dreamed of as an unathletic 7-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I was there. I did. I remember we used to have the WWF back when it was WWF like soundtrack. And I remember like filming videos of us. Like, I was always Dude Love. I was acting like I was Dude Love, right?
Yeah.
Doing dance coming out.
I gotta love Mick Foley.
Patio. Yeah. Oh, it was my favorite. But
he's gonna be at Comic-Con this year in Michigan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Okay. So that being said, first of all, who's your favorite wrestler? Like, who's your inspiration?
Of all time, I love Kane.
Really?
I always loved Kane.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just because, like, when I was a kid, he literally was, like, just this larger-than-life, monster. He was always so cool.
I always felt like Kane was, like, the stepbrother, like, the little stepbrother to the Undertaker.
Yeah. But, I mean, I was also the little stepbrother, so maybe there was part of that there. His color scheme was red. I have red hair. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe there's some psychological connection there to Kane.
I get it. I like it. I liked, Dude Love and Mick Foley and like any character.
I love Mick Foley.
Any character he came up with, it just
the bigger the character has always been my thing.
Yeah.
Because anybody can go out there and be like, I'm the best wrestler. I can do the best wrestling.
Yeah.
But not anybody can go out there and, do the three faces of Foley comes out as Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack all in the same night. Like,
right. Yeah. No.
And look, the character.
You and I are just talking about like being able to kick your legs up. My body couldn't do 3 appearances, let alone 1 appearance at this point. So
yeah, right.
I'm more props to him. That's crazy.
No, it's the character work that always brought me into it to begin with. So, and I think that's still and that's what I like about doing it.
Yeah.
Is I'm a completely different character when I'm there. The guys on my team, one of them is his character is kind of like the $1 Million Man. But mixed with Tony Montana.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So it's almost $1 Million Man meets Razor Ramon.
Okay. Man, you kind of get some deep cuts here. These are good. It's good.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Literally 27 of my 29 years I've been watching wrestling. So.
Wow.
Getting to get involved was awesome, and I started doing commentary.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So. Mostly because I have a stupid encyclopedic knowledge of wrestling maneuvers.
Yeah.
So I could literally name in English, Japanese, or Spanish all of the moves that were done.
Honestly, it sounds like you've got a very wide array of the skill set across the board.
Yeah. It looks like the books are the ones that are catching the most. So
That's good. That's good though. So that being said. I think this is wrestling and early education is clear. Like you have a background in early education. We know, even if you don't know much, right? You know that a background in early education is going to help you as a dad, right? Because you understand kind of that like infant, 18 months up to 5-year range, right? Maybe after that you're screwed. Yep. I don't know, but that's a good starting point, right? But what about wrestling? Translates into being a dad? Like, what do you think you can use from what you do with wrestling into how you're going to be able to be a father?
Honestly, I think because I've done it now for almost between 3 and 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think doing it has helped me like physically stay more in shape.
Okay.
Which I'm not the most athletic dude. I never have been. My doctors say I am obese, technically,
Look, staying in shape doesn't mean you have to be cut. It means you're a shape. That's all you have to do.
5'10", 5'11", 250 pounds. I'm trying to slim down.
I hear you.
We've been going to the gym. My cardio's not bad, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think, the wrestling has really shown me that I can be quote unquote like a boy dad.
Okay.
Which is something that as a non-sports guy, I've watched one football game. It was 2 Super Bowls ago.
Well, okay, but Steve and I have talked about XFL
Yeah.
Vince McMahon owns XFL.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you ever try to watch?
I watched a couple clips.
Okay. Did you watch old XFL back in the day?
I watched a couple clips from both.
Okay. All right.
But like, I don't know. It's football slow to me.
Okay.
The stop with the plays. The sport that I watch the most outside of wrestling is actually soccer.
Okay.
Just because I like I prefer honestly global. I love the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. is my third team.
Who's your first and second?
The Netherlands and France.
Okay. Really, Netherlands, huh?
The Netherlands was an arbitrary pick 3 cups ago, and it was the one they finaled in.
Ah, okay.
And I was literally like, I like the Netherlands. I like their orange outfits.
Yeah.
And then they did really well, and I'm like, I guess they're my team.
Yep. I get it, though, but I feel like they were kind of an anomaly.
Yeah, and then they didn't qualify for the last World Cup. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need a new team. And I'm like, I'm a little bit French, and I like their outfits.
Sure.
And then they won. They destroyed everybody. And I'm like, apparently I'm just good at picking World Cup teams.
You're good at picking teams, yeah.
And then I feel obligated to vote, to pull for the U.S. because I'm from here.
Yeah, sure.
Although the U.S. women's team is absolutely fantastic. And Megan Rapaport is an unholy goddess of football. So she just destroys everyone in her path.
I do agree. I am a huge fan of the women's U.S. soccer team. I remember what is it, Brandi Chastain, when I don't know if you remember this at all, but Brandi Chastain, I want to say it's 92. It's either 92 or maybe 96. I don't know. It's somewhere in the early 90s. I hate that I can't remember the actual year. But I remember that was one of my early memories of women's soccer, and just watching her do they score the goal, rip the jersey off, and just and slide across.
Yeah,
it's so iconic, and that.
Yeah.
That has always just been so our team has been so good, and I just I wish our men's team would catch up. That'd be great. But I love watching the women's team just kick ass all over the field. They're so killer. I mean, they're so good.
I'll say I think being from the Detroit area is also part of why I actually don't like football.
Well, you're not
fan? Well, I root for them to lose. So the Wings were always good. I like going to games.
Yeah. Well, I get the game atmosphere too, because you don't really have to be into sports to go there and enjoy having a hot dog or whatever.
I think everyone needs to go to a professional wrestling show. Go to a WWE show. You could hate wrestling. You will get so involved in that mob mentality and the music and the fireworks, and I love taking people who have never been to or who just don't even like professional wrestling to a pro wrestling show, and just watching them maybe this is cool.
Right. Yeah. I haven't been to one since I was a kid. I honestly haven't watched wrestling for years, but I would tell you the one match that I was supposed to be at that I think it was we were about to buy tickets, but they were just too expensive. And I was a kid, but do you remember when it's very tragic, but when Owen Hart fell from the rafters?
Yeah, over the edge 96.
Yes, so that was in Kansas City. It was a middle schooler, and I was supposed to go, and we just were well, we can't afford tickets, so me and my buddies stayed, and we got the pay-per-view, and I remember it cutting to black and just being what happened? And we just nobody knew what happened until after it was all said and done. But I was supposed to be there. Part of me is very glad that I wasn't. But yeah, I mean,
but
that
at the
was
same time, you're I was one of my wrestler friends who's older than me was at WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slammed Andre. Because that was at the Silverdome.
Yeah.
But I think the wrestling has really shown me, because I was super anxious about it when we found out that we were pregnant, because I was I'm not I'm not a boy. I don't drink, which I know is stereotypical dad thing.
Sure.
I mean, if I had a grill, I'd probably do it. But I think the wrestling thing and being in that world has kind of shown me that I can be a successful boy dad. Stereotypically,
sure.
If his thing is sports, then I can I now feel like I have the confidence that I can interact and engage in that field.
I mean, just to give you a little insight, I will tell you. So I have 2 boys and 1 girl, and my third boy is coming. My oldest son so far, and I know you're saying boy dad. I know, especially with like Kobe Bryant dying recently, there's been the girl dad and a lot of like, so like if you have a son, you're a boy dad, right? Doesn't matter. I know what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying, but I will tell you, I come from being raised like absolutely loving sports. I played football, basketball, I played soccer, I played baseball, I played every sport you could possibly do. I even wrestled traditional old down on the mat, like, wrestled. So yeah, that would have been fun. But yes, I did every sport. Like that was my thing. I loved it. But my dad, he did swimming and kind of did basketball, but he took photos. Like he was the guy that in his high school yearbook, he has a giant bow tie because like he was a giant nerd when it came to that kind of stuff. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't on the football team. I didn't do this, like, but this is what I liked and I did it. And he didn't push me into doing these sports. I just started liking them. And even now, like we'll sit down and we could watch a football game, and my dad will enjoy watching the football game, but not like how I enjoy watching the football game.
Yeah, he's more enjoying just being with you.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I hope they win. This is great. And I am like, every play, I could try to analyze every little thing, right? So we're very different in that, but at the same time, that's where I came from. Now, my oldest son is right now he's in a musical. So I told you he did Wicked and the mix of like Wicked and Wizard of Oz and The Wiz. He tried out for choir. He tried out for the musical last year. Now he's in a new musical. They're doing Little Mermaid. And so he's been doing rehearsals. That's not something I did as a kid.
Yeah.
That's nothing new. He also he started Taekwondo one time and he was like, I don't like getting kicked. I get it.
Fair.
Man. Like
I don't like getting kicked either.
I get it. But that's the thing. Like I'm trying to look at that instead of like, I am a dad that you look at me and I've got the big beard and, I'm a big beard balding, right? I love sports. I'm a dad. I drink beer, whatever. But that's the thing. I'm a dad, right? I may look like I'm like manly dad. I like to go fix cars, but I don't necessarily always do that. Like I'm definitely the first dad. And clearly I'm talking to other dads on a podcast about feelings, right? I am the first guy to be talking to you about feelings. And you're like, dude, you don't look like a guy that's supposed to be talking to me about my feelings right now. Right. I don't have that typical look. I look like a blue collar kind of guy. And it's insane, stereotypical blue collar. I drink beer, I grill, I don't care about that. Yeah. But that being said, like my kids, they probably are going to have a completely different experience that I did. I grew up in the Midwest. They're going to LA. But my whole thing as a dad, and this would be my advice I would share to you, is just be there. And whatever they do, if you're into it, if you're not into it, let them be into it and support them. Right?
Yeah,
as long as it's safe and they're cool. You're good, man. As long as you're there, you get to learn whatever it is that they learn. And you will.
Oh, yeah.
If it's basketball or baseball or something, you're like, I don't know this stuff, but you're into it. So like, I'm going to learn what you're into. It's like a whole new thing that you get to learn about that you didn't learn about it a previous time in your life.
Yeah. Which is something I was super excited for.
Yeah. I'm very excited for you. Dude, I want to talk to you in like 6 months to a year and see if things change, because I mean, right now talking to you, you sound very confident. You sound like you're prepared, you're ready. I don't want you to have an experience of, fatherhood hitting you upside of the head kind of thing. But I will tell you, just take it a day at a time. Like, take it a day at a time. I've not that I'm an expert, but I've done this now 3 times over. And each kid, I learned so many new things that I thought I knew, and then I don't. So from an old balding dad, take this advice. Just, man, enjoy every day. Like, enjoy every day that you can, because it is unlike anything else. And I'm so
I'm stupid excited.
I do. So that being said, I got a question for you.
I have an answer.
Okay, let's see. I know I just sat here and gave you advice, and you listen to our podcast, so
I do.
Listen to us try to give advice out. One, are you getting a bunch of different advice from people that have had kids that want to share that with you? And two, if you are, how are you taking that? Are you taking it all in and trying to learn, or are you just like, you're cool. Okay, I got this. Just hang tight over there. Like, how are you soaking that in or not?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm somewhere in the middle where I will, any advice that is given to me, I'm gonna take and process, and either put it in the, "Ooh, yeah, I didn't think about that," a good idea, what a cool thing, or it'll go somewhere in the middle where, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I don't know if that'll work, or in the what are you talking about categories. So and again, my brother's got 4 kids. My sister has 1. My stepbrother has 2. My wife's siblings have 3 between them. All of my cousins have between 4 and 1. Like, so I'm getting a lot from a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because I have so many different, people I can call upon, at any given notice. If something does come up that, either surprises me or things like that. So yeah, it's definitely, especially in this social media age, which is, how I stumbled into you. There's so much out there that just is so in your face. This is how you have to do it. This is how you have to do it.
Yeah.
And, or you think back to when you were a kid, you're like, this is how it was done. This is how it was done. And you're like, well, did that work or did that not work? And yeah, I think my best way to say it is, take everything in and process what works for you. And if you don't think it does, don't throw it away, because, that could have been, the one thing of advice that you needed that you didn't know you needed at the time. So I should probably start actually like a notebook or something.
You index all your advice.
Yeah. It was like, what was that thing that one guy said 14 years ago that I threw off? Oh, that was good advice. Oh, yeah, I just didn't know it then.
Yeah. Well, you plant the seed, right? And then maybe someday you'll reach in and be like, oh yeah, there's that thing, right? Jordan, I very much appreciate you coming on and talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about, I'm excited for you, man. I'm so pumped for you, and I want to hear all about it. Let's do this before we get out of here. If you want to touch on your books, I'm so worried about the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know.
To say, screw it, you're not gonna hear about the books. But let's tell everybody listening and watching about your books, and then I want to hear where can they get them, because they sound like they're great references to kids, not only for learning, like you said, but also just starting a dialogue with dads and sons or daughters or whatever.
Good dialogue option is so we did the first one. Did we actually get the second one accomplished?
We talked about Mighty, right?
Yes.
We started talking about the Mud Princess.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about the Mud Princess. What I got from you is the story. Let me summarize it. You tell me if I'm totally off base.
Okay.
But the idea is that the Mud Princess is a princess that's covered in mud. And when all the other princesses that are not covered in mud get captured or in trouble by a dragon,
yes,
then she, the girl who's been picked on, has to decide whether she's going to help her. I was to say friends, where she's going to help the mean girls, right? The girls that have been picking on her or not.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's at its core, it's anti-bullying.
Right. Great.
But anti-bullying is so overplayed. I tried to make it more interesting by doing that, fairy tale spin on it.
Sure.
What's also really cool is, so this is your main character, right? This is Georgia, and Georgia is actually based off of a girl who was in my classroom and is in my office.
Very cool.
So that's something super cool that I got to do with her.
That's great.
So my third one is my quote unquote controversial text.
Okay.
So it is a girl named Adam.
A girl.
It is looking.
Okay.
Yes, it is looking at transgender identity.
Okay.
But also, as much as it's doing that, it's looking at friendship. So it's about 2 fourth grade best friends named Adam and Annie. But when Adam changes their name to Addie and starts wearing dresses, their friendship gets put to the test.
Interesting. You know what? And you know what? You say it's controversial, and I get that. I get that it's very controversial.
I know. I hate that it's controversial.
You know what? Though in 10 years, it's not.
But it is.
It's not going to be.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
So like, and it goes through. That's Adam.
Oh, okay.
Soon to be Addie.
Yep.
And it's loosely inspired by one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
It is my Makes Adults Cry book.
Makes Adults Cry? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
All the time.
Yes.
I've had young adults and kind of upper-aged teens message me on my author page to let me know that they've used it to come out to their parents.
Wow.
As kind of like this, this is how I feel type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is what I had hoped, but not what I had expected. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you're essentially giving a tool to a reader, and do with it what you will. But it sounds like you're giving hope to someone, which is honestly one of the best things you can give to anyone. Yeah, and it was one of those things where I was super anxious about doing it. Sure. But I loved my manuscript that I wrote. I love the artwork that my illustrator for this one did. Like, yeah, it's very beautiful. I mean, it looks good. Like, just this full page spread alone is just, oh yeah, there is so much emotion on that page. Right. Okay. And if you can't see him, it's Adam, who is now known as Addie. Addie. Yes. So she changes her name to Addie. And then what was his friend's name? Annie. Annie and Addie in the final page. Yeah, and it's just, I was so anxious about, the climate we're in. Yeah, sure. Which, people be people. Mm-hmm. But the overwhelming support, especially within the LGBTQ community, that I got back from it. That's great. It was at that point where I was like, I did the right thing, and I did what I needed to do. That's good. And I love it. I love talking to people about it. I got invited to, and I get to go in April to a college course and gender and sexuality course. Wow, really? And talk about the book with like first and second year college students, which is super cool. Yeah. So I'm super excited to actually hear from more, as much as I love hearing from kids about my books. Sure. Because kids will be brutally honest with you one way or the other. There's actually a review on the back of Mud Princess that I have from a preschooler that says that the review of the book is, I like the dragon. I like how he was red. It was a good story. Yeah. Well, there you go. A solid endorsement, but not the deepest conversation. Sure. So I'm excited to really get some of those deeper conversations with that college course. Right. Yeah, no, it sounds like something that, yes, of course, the topic is controversial depending on what your background is, right? And exactly. Everything else. But that being said, ultimately what you're doing is telling a human story, a human experience, right? Yeah, and the book is so much about friendship. Sure. I've had kids read it, 4 to 8 years old, either read 2 or read it on their own, where all that registers with them is it's about friends falling out and, getting back together. And it's all about friendship. Yeah. And you start to see the more adult elements, as you get older and things like that. So I really tried to make it accessible to younger and older audiences. Sure. Well, it sounds like an interesting book. I definitely would like to read it at some point, but okay, so that's number 3. Do you have number 4? Number 4, Turtle Day. Turtle Day. Okay. It's my book about sea turtles. Okay. All right. It is my quote unquote long-awaited boy book. Okay, and this is like your boy. Because you've all done essentially all female. They're all girls. Yeah. Okay. They're all female protagonists. All right. So I've had people go, when are you gonna write about a boy? I want a book for my son. I'm like, then buy one of my other books, because books aren't for gender. I got you. Whatever. But this is my boy protagonist. His name is Noah.
And then much like with Mud Princess, he's based off of one of my former students, who is
cool.
awesome enough to be in my author photo with me.
That's great.
But it is about a first grade classroom adopting a sea turtle, and they use satellites to track it and that sort of stuff. So it looks at turtle conservation, and he actually ages up from first grader all the way to graduating college.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
it's like the Boyhood version of children's books.
Yeah, and it's about him. Oh, that's a great movie.
Hey.
It's about him, discovering his love for something, in this case, sea turtles, at a young age, and going all the way up to that point where he is now. He becomes a marine biologist and studies sea turtles.
That's awesome. But you know what? My son used to always say he wanted to be a marine biologist. I thought that's so specific, but that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that is. You can be into something at that age and just follow your passion.
I went through a marine biologist phase, and then I realized I'm terrible at science.
Okay.
So now I love animals, and I want people to keep them safe, but I don't know how to study them.
Yeah, it's all right. You don't have to. You can write books about people who study them, and then you're good, right?
Inspire kids. One of the reviews on the back is, again, I like to do my reviews, especially my cover reviews, from parents and kids.
Okay.
Because while it's cool to have, that other author review your book, you probably as a dad are going to care more. Oh, what did this other dad say? Oh, his son, his 7-year-old said something. How cool.
Yeah.
So this is a combo one. So the dad says, I had so much fun reading this with my kids. Great way to start a conversation, and I loved explaining to them how they can get involved in helping turtles in real life. The son responds with, I liked Noah and how he loved turtles. I love turtles too, and hope I can help them when I grow up.
Boom. I like it. You know you have to get a quote from, right? It's the kid that I like Turtles kid.
Yeah, like Turtles kid, except he's probably like 30 now.
Well, then maybe he has a kid.
Maybe he does. Maybe he has a kid who likes turtles. Maybe his kid hates turtles to inspire him.
That might very well be the case. That might be the case. Jordan, all right. So I know you have another book coming out. I'm excited to hear about that I'm excited to hear about what that is, but let's tell people where they can find you and where they can find your books if they're interested in finding them.
I'm super easy to find, fortunately.
Okay.
I'm on all the social medias. So literally, if you go onto Facebook and you search my name, it's Jordan J. Scavone - children's author. That children is going to be being dropped soon. It'll just switching to author.
Okay.
Because I'm broadening my literary horizons.
Right, with your Twilight age book. I mean, Hunger Games age book.
Yes. My Instagram and Twitter handles are the same, which is nice. So it's @RealJScavone.
Okay.
Because when I came up with my Twitter handle back in the olden days of Twitter in like 06, 07,
sure,
I followed the celebrity trend where they put real in their name.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I'm going to do that because I'm going to need that one day. Still not verified.
I used to have a fishing gear called The Real Grant Babbitt, but it was REEL.
Nice.
No,
that's a solid pun.
Thank you. That was my
dad
joke.
Pun.
Not real at all. See?
No.
Very cool.
And then
do you have a website?
I have a website. It's my name, jordanjscavone.com. I update it occasionally.
Okay. All right. So if anyone wants to buy one of your books, is that where they want to go, or they want to go to Amazon,
you can get them on there. They're all linked through my website.
Okay.
But they are all, I publish through Amazon.
Okay, great.
So they're all on Amazon.
Awesome.
You can literally just type my name into Google, and the Google books thing will pop up with all 4 of the books.
Very cool. Final question for you before we go, Jordan. I know you're ready. I know you're ready. You're prepared.
Yes.
Well, first off, any questions for me? You have me here. Any questions you have for me and my extensive 7 years worth of knowledge?
No, but what is your favorite Frozen song?
Oh, okay, good. By the way, I'm very glad you don't have any questions because I honestly don't know if I have any answers. But favorite Frozen song is it is the song, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one with Hans and Anna from Frozen 1.
Love is an Open Door.
Thank you. Love is I was like, I feel like it's Love is Open a Door, but I mixed that up with Coronation Day.
Yeah, you've seen Frozen 2 then, right? Yeah?
We've seen it once so far, yeah.
Oh, and your favorite song's not Lost in the Woods?
No, it's
Really?
not.
Christoph's 80s power ballad parody?
No, I love that as a music video, as every time, I mean, like I've only seen it the one time, but I'm a big Chicago fan. So like I saw Chicago in that.
Oh yeah, there's a little Frosty in there.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Here's why I like Love is an Open Door as my favorite. My daughter is Anna and I am Hans, and we sing it and we rock it out.
Oh, I love that song.
So that's why I love it, because that is our in the van song that we jam to.
Nice. Plus, it has an Arrested Development reference in it.
This is true. Wait, hold on, wait. What is the reference?
The Arrested Development reference is we finish each other's sandwiches.
Okay, yes. I was like, hold on. I was like, yeah, I got that. Wait a second. Are we talking about the same thing? Okay, very nice. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And I love sandwiches, so that's the second part.
Yeah, sandwiches are great.
Okay, last question I got for you.
Ready.
You've done some books that have involved some of your students, some of your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have one in the works, or are you already thinking about what you can do a book about Felix?
I haven't decided yet. Okay. One of his nicknames is Fox.
Okay.
So at my daycare, we do an early literacy thing where everyone has a letter linked to their name. Mm-hmm. And it usually, you want to get it to start with your name as close as possible. Mm-hmm. So like mine is Jordan Jellybean.
Okay.
It's not the greatest, but J's are actually kind of hard to do.
Sure.
So his is going to be Fox, and Felix is kind of hard to nickname anyway. Mm-hmm. But I have expanded on it with Felix meaning lucky to one of his other nicknames will be Lucky Fox.
Man, you got this down. You thought it out.
I know. And I really like Lucky Fox as a title for something.
Okay.
But it depends on him.
Yeah.
If I write something about him, I want it to actually be about him and not, fictionalized version of him.
Yeah, you got to get to know him first.
Yeah, so I think at some point, at the very least, he'll probably show up as an illustration in the background of something.
Nice. I like it.
All my books have an extended universe inside of them.
Oh, so are they all connected, or they're all?
So it's more Easter eggy.
Okay.
But so in the full classroom of A Girl Named Adam is Mighty and My Mud Princess. But actually pre-book release. So this is the third one, and Noah's in it too.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's.
But fun. I didn't know I was going to write about Noah at the time, so that just kind of was lucky happenstance.
There you go. I like it. Jordan, thanks for being on, man. I really appreciate it. I am, like I've said, I'm very excited for you. Can't wait for June. I'm excited for you, man. I'm
excited for May.
If
you get a fourth one in May.
Thanks. You
got your band.
Yeah, well, that's true. We do have a band. We got to learn how to play instruments first, and then we might.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
Band. But
you can shoot the music videos though.
This is true. I don't want to have to edit it though, so I'm gonna have to teach them how to edit.
Yeah, that's fair. Teach them now; it'll save time.
I will say, this is my fourth time around. I am not any less nervous.
Yeah, the nerves are there. I think I'm hiding them more than anything.
Yeah, man. You sound confident. I would say you're doing a good job hiding them. Well, look, keep in touch. We're gonna keep putting out shows. By the way, anybody who's out there listening, watching, if you can subscribe, share, if you give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, I know it really helps us. It really helps our podcast. Jordan, thanks, man. I'm very glad you got to come on here and do this.
Lots of fun.
To talk to you, especially since we haven't ever talked before. So this has been a nice.
No, this is
and
I feel like I've talked to you because I've listened to 4 or 5 podcasts.
And
so
I feel so bad for you. You've listened to it. I'm so sorry.
You and Steven have such good chemistry, though.
Oh, good. Thank you. We fake the entire thing.
Yeah, well, it's a great fake.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You get in front of the camera at that point.
I appreciate it very much so. So, Jordan, I appreciate you coming on. Good luck.
Thanks for having me.
And also good luck with the retirement. I know that might be difficult, but
yes, it'll be rough.
You got this, man.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'll come back in November or something once he's a few months old.
Yeah, we got to talk about it. Well, I'm gonna wait till he's about. Yeah, you're gonna turn mine.
See if my hair's changed color. Yeah.
Yeah, mine changed into skin color. All right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we seem to have good hair genes, but.
That's good. That's good. All right, man. Well, let's wrap it up for the podcast. And everybody out there, thank you very much for listening to It's a Dad Thing podcast. I will see you guys next time. Again, hopefully Steven's here next time. If he's not, it'll be more of me and somebody else. So we'll talk to you then. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, review, all those things. Helps us out a lot. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Bye.